Welcome to day 21. I think that's what it is, day 21. So what happens to you? How do you act on better days? Or how does it feel to have a better day? It can be quite intoxicating. I've woke up today and it feels like it's because of a little breakthrough I've had in treatment. The breakthrough I'm almost a little bit too ashamed to mention, but it's sort of waking up in the middle of the night and taking something. And I woke up today after having done that last night, and I feel quite chirpy and just feel quite together and quite self-contained and quite peaceful here. And then, well, excuse the personal story and the ickiness of this, but I woke up and my dog decided to use the living room as a toilet last night. So I had to spend an hour cleaning all that up, and as I was doing that, you sort of only sometimes get an insight into how sick you are when you really try to do something, don't you, when you really try to use your body. So I'm sort of racing around cleaning up all this stuff, and I was really struggling because there was some pains in my chest, and my energy was flagging a bit as I was doing it, but also I just did it in a really inefficient, crap way. I used all the wrong cloths and whatever. I don't know, I was just aware that my brain was like, I was doing it really inefficiently and stressedly. I cut my finger as I was doing it, and I put like 4 different plasters on, because I put one plaster on, then I wet my hand, and then it fell off, and I put one plaster on, and then I didn't put it on right, and the blood was coming out somewhere. And do you know what I mean? Like, you try and actually do something functional, and you realise that you're actually a bit sick still, and a bit of a mess. So that happened. But I'm also just sitting here feeling quite self-contained and feeling fairly happy. And speaking to other people with chronic illness, we all know what we do when we have better days. Like, we tend to go mad, don't we? We tend to overdo it. Tend to arrange lots of social things. I don't know, go mad rearranging your house, go out to lots of things. And I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to be contained with it, because, well, the dog poo showed me that I'm not actually fully better. But I want to convey the psychological state it puts you in to get yourself back a bit. It's a very subtle thing to convey, but I was spending all that time this morning feeling a sense of remorse about how I've acted all these weeks and months and years. That I've chosen to stay in, and started to think, God, what will neighbours think of me that I never go out, and they must see me in the dressing gown fairly often and stuff. That sense of remorse is really familiar when I get myself back. It's like I believe I've chosen to act in all these ways. Staying in, not being very social, being really socially awkward, being a bit clingy maybe, acting from loneliness and sending people long messages 3 seconds after they message you. All these ways of acting that come out when you're sick and isolated. I often have this sense of remorse, like, oh God, why have I acted in all these ways? And it's like I just totally forget that I've been really bloody sick, really with horrible physical and mental symptoms, really intolerable physical symptoms, and the mental illness symptoms. I can't even convey how difficult it is to live with them. It's almost impossible to live with them and be functional in the world and do well in the world. It's just, they don't go together. Social anxiety, really strong cognitive dysfunction, is almost designed to make you isolated and to get you rejected. I've experienced quite a lot of rejection from it. So it's I totally forget that that's been my reality for on and off for 14 years, on the better days. It's the whoosh of better chemistry and the whoosh of a bit of life just possesses you, and you can't really relate to who that other person was. You can't relate to them at all. Why do they choose to act those ways? How embarrassing. But it's like, it's silly, isn't it? Like, you just can't. I am at least two people, and in the better head, the better body, I can't relate to the other guy. Then in that guy's, when I'm that guy, those ways of acting just seem normal. It just seem self-protective and helpful, and not helpful. You don't want to be acting those ways, but at least they help you survive.